But it has been a tough stretch. And, these other teams that the Giants are battling for in this wild card, Dodgers are running away with the West. I don't think anybody's terribly surprised with that. But, the Giants in this stretch, they've lost 7 out of 9. They've lost 12 out of 17. It's been tough. It's been ugly. But, teams go through this. And you look at those other teams in this wild card chase that the Giants are going to be battling with. The Mets. The Mets are in this weird funk. The Mets have lost 14 out of 18. So their scuffle is actually worse than what the Giants are in right now. And that's a Mets team that, we know how much talent they have. These other teams, the Brewers are hot right now. They're playing great baseball. But at the end of the month of May, they were under 500. So it happens. It happens to teams. Look at the Padres. The Padres started the season 14-3. Remember, they had a great start. They and the Dodgers had a great start. But the Padres since then are 32-37. So they have not played great baseball. Some of these other teams, the Cardinals, who have been hot, but the Cardinals had a stretch in June where they lost 9 out of 12. But they righted the ship. And they've been a hot team. They're right in this mix now. The Reds in May had a stretch where they lost 9 out of 11. Arizona lost 9 out of 10 in May. So my point is every team, no matter how good they are, they go through these stretches. The same type of stretch the Giants are in right now. But these teams have gotten out of them. And it's just something that every team goes through. The bad teams go through more of them. The good teams go through less of them. It's really simple. But the Giants aren't the Lone Ranger here in tough stretches in the first 3 months of the season. It just so happens, they're in one of those right now. So anyways, that's where it stands right now with the Giants as they get set to go tonight. I guess they're a half game out of the second or the final wild card spot at 46-41. So, all right. So that gets you set for tonight. Now, we're going to switch gears and dive into something that I thought was kind of fun to look at, again, because we're at the end of June. We're now into July. June is over. And we've heard for forever about the Giants' June swoon. It's a thing. It's got a personality of its own. Longtime Giants fans will tell you the June swoon is the real deal. It happens. Okay. So I thought it was fun. I thought it'd be fun to dig and do a little research because listen, why not, right? Is it real? I don't know. Let's find out. The history of the Giants' June swoon. So Giants 13-14 this June, right? And it felt a lot worse because of the way they ended, where the last 2 weeks, they just did not play well. But, I thought, well, let's go back. Let's go back to way back. Let's go back to the 60s and the 70s because a lot of old-time Giants fans will tell you, oh, man, back then it was the June swoon. You knew they were going to go in the tank in June, which I've always found very interesting, right? So I wanted to find out for myself. So I said, I'm going to go way back to the 60s and 70s, and then I'm going to go back to a little more recent history, maybe the last 25 years or years ago. So in the decade of the 60s, right now we're going way back. I know, and some of you viewers may not even know about those teams, but we do know that the Giants had some really good teams in the 1960s. The great players, of course, Mays and McCovey, Marichal, and Cepeda, and Gaylord Perry, and we know all the names. In fact, they never finished below 500 in the decade of the 60s. The Giants did. Too many second place finishes, but the point is they had really, really good teams. Their June winning percentage in the decade of the 60s was .519. That's not bad, right? It's not great, but it's over 500. They had 3 losing months of June in the 60s. 1960, they were 11-16. That's bad. Okay. But in 1963, they were 14-15. In 1968, they were 14-16. Not bad, right? So the records, and you can look it up, the records show that a Giants June swoon really did not exist in the 60s. Look it up. Only one real awful month of June in the 60s, and that was in 1960. So, did the June swoon start in 1960 or 69? No, I don't think so. So I went to the decade of the 70s. Maybe that's where this thing all got started. This great talking point about how they hit the skids in June, but could have been in the 70s. June winning percentage in the 70s, 460. That's not great. Okay. In fact, they were under 500 in the month of June in 7 of the 10 years of the 70s. So that's not great. And they were only over 500 one time. And that was 1978. Remember, they had the great year, got off to a great start. But 1974 may have been the beginning of it all. The infamous Giants June swoon. The Giants went 7-20 in June of 1974. So the Giants June swoon goes back to the decade of the 70s, and maybe, just maybe, 1974 sticks in people's minds. I don't know. But fun stuff looking way back, okay? But let's bring it a little closer to home. Let's go back to when Oracle Park opened. 2000, right? So 2000 till right now, that's 26 years, including this June. Giants have a winning percentage of 520. That's pretty good, right? 520 is pretty good. So there hasn't really been a June swoon issue in the Oracle Park era of Giants baseball. In fact, the best June in this stretch of 26 years that we're talking about was just a couple years ago. 2023, the Giants won 18-8 in June. Worst June in this stretch, 2007, and again in 2017, they went 9-18. So, okay. But no extravagant numbers necessarily either way, on a consistent basis. So, listen, the records say no June swoon since moving to Oracle Park. Okay, so the myth of the Giants June swoon could be slightly exaggerated. And I don't want to get in an argument with Giants fans, but my point is I'm just looking at the records, and I don't see as much as I thought I would see as far as June struggles. Maybe that dreaded June of 1974 is where it started it all. And maybe that's the real June swoon. But overall, hasn't been that bad, Giants fans. Just look up the records like I did. It was kind of fun, actually. So that's my digging into Giants history segment for tonight. I hope I didn't bore you too much. But hey, why not check history once in a while?